Do you have a bunch of cheap red wine lying around collecting dust? Well, have no fear. Today we'll transform this boring cheap red wine into a spicy celebratory staple. But first, what did the grape say when it got crushed? Nothing. It just let out a little wine. Today we're celebrating the holiday with some warm, spicy mulled wine. Mulled wine is a classic winter drink that's sure to warm you up and make you feel merry. It's a blend of holiday spices, citrus, and of course, wine. Since the wine is going to be heated and spiced, there is no reason to use something expensive or fancy. So it is a perfect way to transform perhaps inexpensive gifted bottles of wine into something spectacular. For today's recipe, you will need one standard 750 milliliter bottle of red wine. The fruitier the wine, the better. Half a cup of sugar, honey, or maple syrup. Really, any sweetener will do. 1 orange, 1 lemon, 1 cinnamon stick, 1 teaspoon of allspice berries, 3 whole cloves, and 2 star anise pods. Optionally, you may also want to add a 1/4 teaspoon of pink peppercorns, 4 green cardamom pods, 1 slice of ginger, 1 lime, several blackberries, fresh or frozen, and 1/2 cup of alcohol to reinforce the mulled wine. Brandy, port, rum, or even bourbon would work well. A word of caution: mulled wine tends to be a drink that goes down far too easily. Be sure to consume it with friends or family so that you don't end up drinking the entire batch yourself by accident. That would be bad. First, we need to prepare our citrus. We're going to be using the zest from the orange and the lemon, so I like to soak them in very hot water with a splash of vinegar added to it for a couple minutes. This helps to remove any wax that might be on the outside of the fruit. Then, carefully using a potato peeler, we're going to make nice long thin strips of the zest. Try to get as little white pith as possible. We want the wonderful citrusy notes, not the nasty bitterness. Once that is done, we are going to remove the pith from the fruit itself and the skin from the optional lime if you're using it. Then we're going to slice the citrus fruits fairly thinly. If you're using the optional ginger, make a fairly thin slice of it now as well. We want to bash our allspice berries with something to break them open and expose their inner seed. Then we're going to drop all of the loose spices into a muslin bag or bundle them in cheesecloth and tie it up with cotton string. Now pop the spice bundle, citrus zest, citrus slices, ginger slice, blackberries, and cinnamon into a large pot and pour in the honey and the wine. We're going to turn the pot on to medium heat to start, and once we see steam rising up, we're going to turn it down to low. We want to very gently steep the spices into the wine, being absolutely sure it never comes to a boil. Ideally, to preserve the potency of the wine's alcohol, you want it to stay below 170 degrees Fahrenheit. This can be very difficult if you have an electric stove. More importantly, to keep the delicate grape flavors intact, you never want the wine to get over 190 degrees Fahrenheit if you can avoid it. We're going to let the wine steep for anywhere between 20 minutes and an hour. You can steep longer if you want extra spice. Once the spice has sufficiently permeated the wine, we are going to remove our cinnamon stick and spice bag and fish out the citrus slices and peels. If using the optional reinforcing alcohol, add it now. Gently stir and do a final taste check. If you find the mulled wine needs a bit more sweetness, now is the perfect time to adjust it. Lastly, carefully ladle out some wine into glasses or mugs and enjoy the warm holiday cheer. And here we have it, the finished mulled wine. As you can see here, it came out to be a bit more than a liter's worth, or a bit more than 4 cups, and that's probably because of all of the citrus juice that would have come out of the lemon, orange, and lime, as well as the 1/2 cup of brandy that we've added. So all that's left is to give it a try. It's very citrusy, but with that delightful warming spice undertone, and the wine definitely pushes through. The stronger and more fruity the wine, the better it is for mulled wine. So if you have it available, something like a Merlot or a Malbec or a Foch or something along those lines of very inky, fruity wines is best. Regardless though, it'll work with pretty much any red wine, and it is delightful. You could even use 2 bottles of wine instead of 1 for this amount of spice, and you would still get a very good result out of it. As I mentioned earlier, mulled wine is a great use for any gifted bottles of wine that you end up with that you just aren't interested in drinking by themselves. The warming spice palette and citrusy pop make it perfect for a frigid winter day. As with all alcoholic beverages, be sure to drink responsibly and stay safe out there this holiday season. I hope you enjoyed this video. Be sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and ring the notification bell so that you're notified of my other holiday videos this month. If you're looking for a fantastic light holiday dessert, then be sure to check out my lemon pie video. Thank you very much for watching.